Welcome to the Life of Giants. I am one of your hosts, Dino the Genetic Marvel, and with me is
Kyle Petrillo.
there you go, everyone. So, welcome. We already have a couple comments. I got Serge in the background. What's up, Serge? How you doing, buddy? And Joey, he's just to see if Dino denies that he has had plastic surgery again. I've never had plastic surgery once. I don't know about that. I don't know what you're talking about, Joey. That's a lot of people have asked me like, "Oh, did you get surgery?" And I'm like, "No, I just stopped eating. I stapled my face shut, and that's how I lost the weight. That's basically what happened."
Oh, he
No,
thought you had like stomach staple or lap band or some
I
shit.
guess if anything, I'd get my hair done before I do that. Like that's fuck. I'm living the dream with an island on top of my head. It's great. It's fine.
Well, there you go. You have somewhere to vacation.
That's the way I pose it. That's it. I'm like a lot of beachfront property, a lot of year-round accessibility. Hello, Mr. Kyle. Nice to meet you, brother.
Hello,
Uh,
STD.
That's Joey Edibles. He gets very high and does a podcast. It's great. He
Okay.
had a nose job. No man, my nose is still flat from some grade one. Somebody hit me in the face with a lunch pail.
You know
No,
what's funny is I've actually look at this nose and
yeah,
it
yeah.
has had surgery.
It's
I had a deviated septum. I also broke my nose. Didn't really
yeah.
know, and then I like 5 short years later, I had something. I had it fixed.
Yeah, well, hey,
They're like, "How did you not know your nose was broken?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I guess people were waiting for black eyes and shit, and I got
yeah.
nothing. I just went home and like, yeah, Life of Giants. I
It's,
don't bruise. I just
yeah, well, when we were working, a fence fell on me, and people were like, "Did that fall on you?" I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Eh." And I'm like, "I got a bruise on my leg," and people were like, "Oh, you can really get hurt that way." I'm like, probably if I was smaller, but it just bounced off me. It's only a fence. It's not one of the good
it's
things.
funny because people are thinking fences, and the fence that fell on you is actually probably way bigger than what they're thinking.
That's probably true. It was, yeah,
Massive
it was a
steel
massive
fence,
like 8 foot tall steel fence.
the portable fences.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it was a pretty big fence. Anyways, but yeah, it
Like,
wasn't.
I know it's fine.
It would have killed a smaller person, but me, it just bounced off because I'm still
I
fat in all the right places.
didn't get hit by a plane. We're fine.
I always think about that, and I'm like, one of the jokes that I used to do was the whole idea, Kyle, you just need some red string on your wall, and it will complete the picture. That's a good point. That's not
I'm
a bad.
okay with that. Give me time.
It's
And
all connected. It's only a matter of time.
I don't know. There's no. That's the beauty of the thought. It's all thoughts that have no connection. So,
That's okay, but that's one of the things that we're talking about is that there are connections between everything and everyone. There's also like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, where you're attached to everyone. It's not that far for you to have a link to other people. But the fact is, like on a daily basis, you're like, you know what? It's you want things to be connected, but they don't always have to be either, right? And that's one of the things like we're talking about the Life of Giants. Last week we talked about how ridiculous it is being bigger than everyone else, and how other people will walk up to you and go, "Ah, you make us feel small." I'm like, that's because you are small in comparison. That's just that's just genetics. What do you want me to do? But like, there's a lot more to being a giant to life, right? In general, I know that there are a lot of people that you meet that will come across as just like giant personalities, or some people are just giant opinions. That's a red flag, just for people to know. People who are too opinionated, yeah, don't hang out with them. But realistically, like there's a lot more. And I don't know, Kyle, what do you think? Do you think things are like that are connected, where it's like you fall into that and you're kind of going, well, somebody's got to do it, so I'll just take the lead.
I am. I'm always that somebody. It's just.
Yeah, kind of. What's up, walkie talkies and knees? Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where a lot of the times you're kind of like, well, somebody's got to lead this fucking bunch of degenerates. I'm like, well, might as well lead. It's not like I'm always open to be like, people are like, I want to be in charge. All right, go for it. Have fun.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
good.
But it's like I don't try or want to be in charge. I just become that role.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, but it's like stupid because I might as well have the title. But then I don't know, like,
yeah,
I'm okay with responsibility. I just don't want. It's always just horseshit.
Well, it's one of those things where you're like, hey, I'm just fucking trying my best here, right?
Yeah.
Like, and people are trying to like, well, you're in charge. You're like, I'm not in charge of shit. You're like, I'm barely in charge of me, and that is probably a mistake. Let's be honest. That's
People, no, like, yeah, like people all through Hexwood, people would ask me questions because, like, I don't know, I have relationships with all the people, but then it's just like, yeah, I had people tell me stuff. Like, I don't know, like, I didn't know stuff. I'm just like, you're asking me questions. I'm like, I'm an actor too. I'm getting the same as you are, and whatever.
yeah. Well, yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's yeah. This is a good podcast. Blah.
It is like that's. I feel like that's one of the missing links that people are falling behind on. Like, I know for myself, like I did a lot of public speaking when I was younger, and then I did some with work and things like that, and now doing comedy. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'm like, people are like, oh, can you talk for 5 minutes? I'm like, I can talk for 5 minutes. You're gonna have to give me the light because I won't shut up. Like, I just keep on going. But
this
like,
is actually the second episode, but we've been talking since the first. So
we haven't stopped. We've just
I
been,
don't know. It's been, what, 128 hours now.
Yeah, we have lots to talk about. That's totally reasonable. There's so much happening in the universe that
so when there's like dead air now, it's just like fuck.
yeah. Just know that we've been talking this whole time. You just weren't here to hear it. Sorry,
Yeah, you missed all the good stuff. By the way, you guys should have really tuned in to our private lives.
Yeah, you should just if we hung out more often, you'd know exactly what's going on.
But like the 3 people watching and yeah, no, just like getting shit done. Like, I don't know, like I'm always the hero, but like I'm not a hero. But like
no,
there like we had work to be done after Hexwood. Like the gas station and the diner had to be like cleared. But like for a film the next day, and then it wasn't, and it was pissing rain, like the most insane rainstorm, thunderstorm. So like lightning hit the field, but there was like all these there was all these fucking cats. Anyways, there was all these like weights for the giant fence that fell on Dino.
Yeah,
that cinder blocks, and I'm just like, I looked at it and I'm like, if I don't move these, because there's not a lot of forklift people around there, nobody's going to move them. So I was out there for like an hour and a half in the pissing rain, moving this shit, like with no help. And then I'm just like, all I'm doing is saving everybody from coming in at like 4 a.m. And I don't even know who they'd have to actually do the job either. So I did it all, and I was sick for a week and lost all the money. So
that was ridiculous because I got sick that well, that was just horrible weather though too. Yeah, and you were stuck out there driving a forklift in the lightning. Just so you know, people, don't do it. It's a recipe for disaster.
And it was pissing. Like I've never been that wet. Like I might as well have jumped in a swimming pool with my clothes on. Like that's how wet I was. And I drove home that way. It was for like an hour. So it's weird. And after I was like totally exhausted and run down from like crazy work for like 2 months. That was no chance to like, you have to be on. And then surprise, I got sick.
Yeah. That was
I looked more unhealthy, and then my relationship ended because of such things. It's fantastic. It's good. I'm happy.
It's not a funny joke. It's not a funny joke, but
it's my fucking life. Why do I feel I'm like so short?
You know what? It is hilarious because you're constantly like, you have your camera is up high, which I'm like, I have it right direct to me, and people are like, oh yeah, apparently we're the same size. No, that's not true. I was like 7 feet tall, maybe 9 feet tall. Who knows? Yeah. See, this is like, we were talking about this before the show started, guys, was the whole idea where for me, I'm at a point where like there are always ebbs and flows of life. There's ups and downs. Fine. I'm like, I don't want either of them. I just want a calm sea. There's nothing. And Kyle's like, no, I want all the highs. I want none of the lows, all of the highs. And I'm like, I can't say I don't want the same thing, but for me, I've just more so just been like, I just want calm. Don't care about like the lows. Just take it out
No,
of me.
yeah, but like we're just talking 2023 a lot. But like I've had a lot of lows for a long time. I feel like I'm due for a long stream of highs because like I'm
Yeah,
owed. Like
yeah,
I
you're
get it.
owed.
I'm owed. It's still my youthful exuberance to think that this is a possibility. But there's I want just the highs. But that being said, I really would rather just like a happy calm. But like because I get the really big highs and then end up on things come to end.
Yeah.
You're no longer a star.
Well, we were discussing that. Yeah, or have never been a star.
Oh, you're a star in my world, my friend.
Okay, so we were talking about this was 2023 has basically been the first real like back to normal year that we've had. It hasn't been normal, and everyone is a weirdo now. But realistically, you guys who are watching, what do you guys think? What was the weirdest experience, or one of the one of your highs, one of your lows? Feel free to throw in the comments if you're thinking. Because for us, like for me, I know during the summertime, I was working out, getting in shape. I hit my mark of getting down. I got down to 250 pounds. Now I'm sitting comfortable around 265, and I'm at 260, 265 because I'm back to fasting and everything. But I'm just like, at the same time, man, it's been a crazy few months now where it's been exciting. That's for sure, because working and everything was good, but man, some of the stuff there, you were doing amazing. Yeah, well, I'm trying. I don't know. After last night, see, I shouldn't be left to my own devices, people, because I went and got high and I ate every snack. I still am burping up yesterday's food. It's absolutely ridiculous. I was a star when I was younger. My mom always told me I was so special. I was put in special. Thank you, Walkie Talkies, Nate. You're absolutely right. I feel like a lot of us should have been in special ed. That's for sure.
But no, it's just like it's been like you've seen it, like you understand. My life has been like crazy highs,
yeah,
and then like epic lows.
Yeah. Well, especially with when we were doing Hexwood, you went viral like 3 times, which is a lot. And like even I had a couple times people came through my maze and like, I saw that guy on the internet, and I was like, oh, really? Whereas Kyle was getting that for like 7 hours straight of people going, he's the butcher, and just walking up and wanting to. You had lineups in front of you, just people wanting to take pictures, which is super weird.
I did have a lot of lineups.
Yeah.
I feel like I am big in Japan in 2 ways now. But no, there was times I could not, like most of the times I didn't want to leave, but there was times I could not leave and I really wanted to.
Yeah. Hopefully you managed to learn something from your super lows, man. I mean,
as my makeshift therapist, Dino knows 100% that I have learned no lessons. And I am ready to dive off the cliff.
Yes.
All over again.
We definitely were talking about a Thelma and Louise experience. So if anyone is looking to get rid of a convertible that fits giant people, let us know. Most convertibles are made for small people. Mind you, watching me and Kyle drive around in Miata could be kind of entertaining because that is painfully small.
I was thinking exactly of a Miata because I knew somebody that was like, he was like a bodybuilder, but he was like short because, you know, that's why he has to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And he had a Miata, and I'm just like, fuck, man. That thing breaks down, I put it in my pocket, walk home with it. Like, it was 100%. Like so damn small, and just, it was a silly car.
It's always been a buddy of mine. His sister had one, and he brought it to high school one day, and he was giving people rides around the parking lot, and I'm like, cool, let me jump in. He's like, absolutely, jumped in, and like that car was barely moving, and I was sitting at like 350, and I was like, oh, this is embarrassing. Thank you for that. That's a great feeling. And he's like, I don't know why it's not going faster. I'm like, I have an idea because I'm not fat ass. And
really, a Miata can move. That's how we.
Miata, I'll give you guys $50 a piece if both of you can fit in the original Mini Cooper. Bro, I can't fit in the Mini Cooper. I tried to sit in a Mini Cooper and it was a nightmare. Fiat 500 I have sat in, an original Fiat 500, but like I think Kyle, did I tell you this story? I have a cousin in Greece who's a doctor. He is like not even 5 feet tall, and his wife is really short too. And so they have two cars because he's a doctor. He has like an old diesel 600 SEL Mercedes Benz, which is a massive, massive car. It's from the 80s. Okay.
All right.
And then his other car, his daily driver, is a Fiat 500, like the old original Fiat 500, because him and his wife are little like Lego people. They're very small. So,
Picnics.
yeah, basically. So, and it's even cabriolet, which means it has leather that folds back on the roof. It's very exciting. So he was like, hey, let's go for a ride. And I'm like, okay. So my one brother, who was about 220, 230, is lying down in the back because that's not going to happen. He was only 5'9", but still, small car. I'm in the passenger seat and my cousin is driving. Now, my cousin is like, no problem. Now, I have my hand across his chest, holding on to his side of the car. My shoulder is outside of the car and I'm holding onto the door. And then my head, I can actually see the road because my head is through the cabriolet, the roof. And I'm like, listen, if you hit a low branch, I'm done. And he's like, no. And a couple times I was like, son of a bitch. And yeah, and then we pulled up to his mom's, had a gas station where everyone would hang out because there was a nice breeze. And I pull up and I'm like, hey, and my dad's like, can you get out of there? I'm like, I don't know yet. I might have to climb up the top. It's who knows. It was quite an experience.
Can you get out? How did you get in?
Like, there's been those times where people are like, how did you get in there? I'm like, I don't know. I regret my decision. That's
no. Yeah, just crazy shit. I had an idea of something to say, and then it is gone because. Although I was thinking about you not even hitting a branch, I'm like, if he hit the brakes, your eyes are gonna hit the fucking like.
Yeah, I was definitely like, I had that a little bit. Like, it was still a Fiat 500. It wasn't going that fast, but we were going through like a country road kind of in Greece, which a country road in Greece is not like a country road in Canada. A country road in Greece is just dirt and hope. That is all the things you have to drive on. Just dirt and hope. Yeah, that's and you just hope no one's laid something across the thing. They're like, oh yeah, I was watering my plants, so I took this giant farmer's hose and have laid it full of water across the road. And you're like, oh yeah, if that's under pressure, you hit that, you're going flying, is what? Because it's like 4-inch thing. You're like, oh yeah, thanks, dickhead. And they're like, what? I have to water the plants. You're like, son of a bitch.
That is totally a thing, though. Just like people like, oh, it has to happen. And I'm like, no, that stuff doesn't.
Yeah, well, I feel like there's a certain amount of that where people don't like. I was always raised to count the cost, right? Like, think about what the like, and even like with your time, with what your energy and all that kind of stuff is like. Count the cost, right? Like, how much am I investing in this, and to make it manageable? But people are like, I don't give a shit who it affects. I'm just doing my thing, and everyone could get fucked. And I'm like, that's a horrible idea. That's just. You're just looking for a problem, is what you're looking for.
Yeah, right? I don't like people like that. I'm so damn considerate that like I get when people are super inconsiderate, then I get like super angry.
Yeah,
because it's just like, you know what? Don't be an asshole. Like, don't be blatantly an asshole. Like, I live in an apartment building and people blare music. I'm like, you know what? If you can afford a house, go nuts.
Absolutely.
But like, there's fucking people living under you. Don't wear shoes on hardwood floors, and yeah, don't blast music.
Yeah,
get fucked. So
yeah, I think that's one of those things where people are like, well, I just want to vibe out. You're like, okay, good. You can do that when you have your own place, or go somewhere else. Let's just drive around your car and blast the music away, dickhead.
Headphones, fuck.
Also
you can have an entire rave with everybody wearing headphones. I don't think that 3 people in a fucking apartment couldn't figure that out.
I also, at the same time, I've seen that on TV where people are like, oh, everyone's wearing headphones and it's a rave. And I'm like, that is absolutely ridiculous. I don't want to do that. That's just...
Oh, I agree. But I don't think it's any more ridiculous than a rave. So, like...
That's a fair point. That is a fair point, sir.
No, but like I was thinking about, like, we were talking about stuff, and it's just like people go out they go to clubs and bars and shit, and then they go to, or like New Year's Eve, all these like gatherings and stuff, And I'm just like, do people actually have fun there, or is it just like a facade? Like, do they? I think they just think they're having fun. Like, I don't know what fun. It's always just like a place for drama and bad music. Like, I
That's
don't.
also true.
And then people, yeah, great. I'm like, at best, you have fun afterwards because you're like, found somebody. But like for a night, which is just gross, anyways. But
it's
like
there's
I don't
the expectation, right? Where people are like, you have to have fun. It's New Year's, and you're like, that's I've had fun on a couple of New Year's, but it's never lived up to its expectations. Let's say that.
No, it's a 1 second holiday, right? Like it's or 10-second holiday. It's like 10, and it used to be on TV when it was weird to me that they would have the thing, the ball drop, and it's like done.
Yeah,
it's like everything, like it's midnight and it's done. And I'm just like, we were waiting for this point so that it would be over. But I'm just like, dude, nobody like keep partying and shit. But like it was, and now they like let it live on a little longer, which makes sense to me. But I still find it to be like the most disappointing holiday.
Oh yeah,
and I don't. And then like I'm single. What am I supposed to do? Go to a singles thing? Like but I'm like singular. Like I don't have like single friends to go to this shit with. Also, I wouldn't want to put them through that either. But you know what I mean? Like it's
it's one of those things where like I've gone with a couple of couples to stuff, and I got invited to do comedy one year, and that was a horrible. I was just like, that's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
And then
that
the people,
sounds like a horrible idea.
It really was. And I'm like, I rather go out for dinner and hang out at somebody's house, have a few drinks, and then bounce. All right, it's New Year's, cool. See you later. I will definitely be the asshole. Be like, see you next year.
But like, why? Like, even that. Like, I don't want to hang out with strangers.
Also,
like, I don't. And like now that I actually have some people that I would hang out with, I would gladly hang out with them over strangers. And it's just let's go. Oh, it's the most important night. It's not important. It's all man-made. It's meaningless essentially. I guess numerology it's meaningful, but like it's all just a facade of happiness. Like I don't know why I want to experience that. And you're right, like I remember like trying to remember back, like I've had there was one event I went to as a kid because I was like kind of dragged to it because my parents were going out with like a couple and the couple was fighting, so they didn't go, and I went to this like, so it was like some big thing, and it was like but there was a Beatles cover band and there was like an Elvis impersonator, and I don't know who. There might have been others, but it was like that was good.
Yeah.
But like that would have been good any day.
It's also true.
And,
Like I find New Year's is kind of like Valentine's in that everything gets ridiculously overpriced, and there's lineups for everything, and you're just kind of going, "This is a horrible idea. I don't want to do that."
Forced, like it's so forced. Like it's just like, oh, we got to do something because of this day. I'm like, fuck, let's celebrate yesterday. Like even Valentine's Day, I'm like, no, like let's do the weekend before, or like, and still plan something on Valentine's Day, but you don't have to do like all the crazy shit. Yeah. Like I would rather make you dinner and fucking candlelight here. Like
absolutely,
as long as the cat doesn't catch fire.
I mean, yeah.
They actually one did almost once. He like stood over a candle that was in it was in a thing, like it was in a proper but it's just like fucking asshole move. Like like he's kind of, it was new to him. He was fine, people, fine. No need to call anybody.
Everything worked out for the best.
If anything, just don't take them away. Just take me away. I don't know. They live here more than I do, anyways. I don't know.
They're in charge. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. I don't sleep unless they allow it. So
that's I feel like that's a reasonable thing. No, that's even actually. There's been a few times where our cat Apollo will do the same thing. He'll just start meowing, and I'm like, bro, it's early. Shut up. He's like, meow. I'm like, oh, fucking dick. And then it's like, what are you emailing for? And he's just like, nothing, and walks away. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Yeah,
So
no. I don't know. I feel like that's the best New Year's parties that I've been to have been at people's homes. That's for sure.
yeah.
And I always find those are enjoyable,
See,
just because that's just hanging it. Like for me, that's just a day, and be like, oh, by the way, it's New Year's. you
uh,
know,
see, I had a party once. Was it New Year's? No, I don't even think it was New Year's. So it's not really a story anymore. But yeah, like no, they had one of those monkeys that like grab on, like fake, that like you use the hands and they velcro together or whatever.
all right.
So I like wore it as a necklace most of the day at this party, and I had a flask full of tequila, and I kept giving people shots, and everybody I gave a shot to was like super fucked up right away.
Nice.
And I was like, fine. And then yeah, and then I went home, and the monkey came. I
Oh,
stole
wow.
it.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
only fair.
It was stolen, and I think I returned it because it was somebody I worked with, but I don't think he gave a shit anyways. But like, what the fuck do I need it for?
Also, that's fair.
Yeah,
I turned 19 in 1999, so I was legal drinking age for that party, which was as well were all my classmates too. So I was in college. We went to a buddy's house. That was a wild party.
see, I was 16, but I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
remember. And then most of the time when I had like when I was in a relationship, like I don't even remember because we didn't do all the stupid shit. Like I don't want to go stand freezing my ass off outside.
Oh no. Yeah.
And like so I can see a free concert of like I remember in Brampton. It was weird that Our Lady Peace played there one year on New Year's Eve.
Really? I didn't know.
Yeah, I know. Like they were slumming, and
definitely. Yeah.
and it was like minus 40 that night. Like, and it was like minus 42. Like that's how cold it was. It was like because nobody even mentions it past that. Like it was it was so damn cold. And then they were like, "Thanks for coming, thanks for staying." And I'm just like, dude, I would never. Like I would just be like, "No, it's cold. Go in. Like this is horrible."
Yeah. I had a few people who were like, "Oh, we're gonna go to Nathanville Square." I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "For the lights and everything," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't want to get shot." I'm like, "That's not no thanks." And they're like, "No, it's good. We're going with the kids." And I'm like, "You're bringing your children?" I'm like, "Oh, you're nuts."
And like Times Square, man, like all those people flood in, see a stupid ball drop, and then it takes you another year to get out. Like, I don't even know. Like, unless you live like right there, I would never do that. I would never go. And then if you lived right there, it's like look through the window. Like,
just check it out. Be like, oh, there you go. That's the cool thing. All right, I'm out. Like I've been like it's the same idea where like Canada Day, there's been fireworks and stuff. Be like, you want to go see them? I'm like, I've seen fireworks. I'm good. Like it's not a big deal to me for that kind of stuff. Like
this year I went because because I was living close by and I had nothing else to do or nobody to go with. Like this is the before times. I made all my friends in the last 3 months. So yeah, it's like if you think I live a very sad existence, you're only just beginning to learn.
That's not fair. That's ridiculous. No, but I think that comes down to like, yeah, you are fairly close to that area where you could just like walk over. It'll take you a while, but it would be a stroll, right?
No, like it was like a 15-minute drive, but then like I managed to find a decent parking spot where it was free, and B, I was not blocked. It took me like 20 minutes to get out instead of like 2 hours or some shit.
Yeah.
Because I hoofed it most of the way, and like I parked far away, so because like I just like I'm getting used to paying for parking at this point.
Yeah.
And plus, I have like I get paid decent, so I'm like,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's not a big deal. But like before, like $6, like fuck, man. Like, that's,
yeah, no, absolutely. And also too, like that's something I was talking with Cole about yesterday, was the whole idea where it's like we pay for parking on streets that we already pay taxes for and our tax dollars built, and we pay property taxes to use everything. And you're going to charge us for parking?
so we pay income tax for a war that was been over for 70 years. So whatever.
Also true. Yeah.
Like justifying the government. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
How about instead of tax refunds, you just take less from me and like.
Yeah. Or how about this? Just spend less. You guys suck.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, we got all these initiatives. I'm like, for who? So that like men can get pregnant? Like, what the fuck?
Also, I look forward to getting pregnant. Maybe someday soon.
Yeah.
No, but that's the whole idea, right? Is that it's ridiculous where even the idea of sales tax, I'm like, no, you tax me to earn this money, and now you're going to tax me to spend the money? That's insane. I'm thinking I'm going to try and start doing stuff like, just if it, like, I only pay for food, and after that I'm going to just build shit. Don't tax. You can't get taxed on buying food. Like,
Yeah,
you get taxed on like construction materials. I feel like I could get taxed back on that.
No, but like that's the thing. Like I've gone that route. It's just like, oh, make it myself. But like you'll even like food nowadays, it's just like,
yeah,
if you buy all the raw ingredients, it costs more than just buying the goddamn product. Like,
yeah.
And the same with like the furniture and all, because you will never get a better deal than the person who's buying a million 2x4s.
That is a good point, sir. That's one of those things that has been very like, because there was a whole time when last year where it's like wood has like quadrupled in price. It's like, why? Because reasons. And you're like, do we not have trees in our country? Oh yes, we do. Why is this 7 times the price? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, remember when we didn't cut them down for 6 months? Well, now we're backlogged. Like, fuck off. Like, really? No, I don't. I think we're fine. I think there's wood. You guys are just controlling the supply,
in
order to gouge us from every damn industry possible.
Well, this is the first time that inflation has shown that there has been the price increase for groceries is higher than the price increase for going out to eat, which you're like, that is insane. Like there's no rational explanation for that other than greedflation, which you're like, yeah, Galen Weston is a horrible human being.
But like I go to Costco, I can buy 3 chickens for $30, which is that's amazing. But I can buy 3 cooked chickens for $8 each. Right. So like, and that implies somebody put more effort into that. So it should technically cost more. Like, but if you go to Sobeys, the more expensive places, they have a chicken, like their cooked chickens are like $14.99. So, but their uncooked chickens are like 20 something.
Yeah.
It's like, why
does that make any sense?
I'm like, unless I wanted to like specifically do something and I'm not that interested in it, I'm just gonna buy the cooked chicken. You know, like it's just insane. Like, why is that a thing? Like, it's just stupid. I'm done.
It's very backwards the way things are going, but at the same time, it's one of those things where like, we're seeing a lot of firsts, I find, especially in this day and age where everything is backwards and upside down, which I'm like, I'm not against people being what's the word for it? I guess people trying to be like their authentic self, which I'm like, absolutely, you should unapologetically be yourself, but that doesn't excuse you from taking responsibility for your actions, and then you have to try to not be a piece of shit. Like, those are beneficial things for you and the people around you. It's not just
But for a long time, I was being my authentic self, which also led to a lot of apologies.
Yeah, that'll happen too.
But
I feel like we need. So I found this out this past year. I don't know, but apparently in like there's I think it's in Peru or Chile, in South America where like one day a year they have like open fighting where you're like, oh, people, if people have disagreements, like there will be like you can challenge them to a fight on a specific day.
In Peru,
Yeah.
I
And I'm
want to
like,
know where I'm moving
it's
because
yeah, I'm like, honestly, I feel like that is like one guy, it was like something, a relationship broke up because of something we do, someone did something and it resulted in his relationship breaking up. So he fought that guy, kicked his ass, and I'm like, I mean, I feel like we need to bring trial by combat back. I think we talked about that last time, but I'm like, just the idea where it's like, hey, you know what? I should be allowed to fight somebody, and it should be, hey, you know what? Let's make it an event. And just be like disgruntled people fighting.
no, but like if I went to Peru on that day, it would just be like we gotta solve that. Like, how many first graders would you have to hold off each second? Like,
I mean,
because like yeah, like all the people are probably much smaller than me. I think I could be the. If I plan it well, I could be the president of Peru by the end of the day.
I mean, that's a probable. Like, I feel like how many people do you think you'd have to beat up for everyone else to be like, I'm not gonna bother. I'll just vote for him. Like,
yeah. Well, it's not even about voting. I'm like, in that day, can I beat the shit out of the president and take his spot? Trial by combat style. Like, I don't know.
I feel like we need more of that though.
It will take some planning. Like, I'll have to get in that room. But you know, like obviously not like ninja style because you know I'm large.
Kyle's the biggest ninja in North America. That's what he is.
Yeah,
Trained ninja. See, it's hilarious because I like actively try and sneak up on people and then just like, hey, what's up? And they're like, where did you come from? And I'm like, magic.
Yeah,
like,
but that's the thing that's crazy at Hexhood. People would be freaked out because I have like I'm surprisingly agile and I'm really light on my feet because I did MMA for like 10 years. So, and I don't know why people feel like their feet are heavy and need to slam them into the ground as if it wasn't going to be there. But like I'm light on my feet. I don't like stomp around and but I'm like 250 pounds and 6'6".
Yeah.
In like construction boots and they can't hear me coming.
That's so I have a sister-in-law who walks like she's actually like 5'11", very petite, like she's very, very thin, and she walks like an elephant. Like it's just boom, 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 boom. And you're like, where are you going? Why are you jumping every time you take a step? Like it's
Does she complain about her feet hurting too?
I don't know. She's a woman. She complains about all sorts of stuff. What do I know? Yeah. I just drown her out most of the time. That's just but it's but unless it's my woman, then I'll hear. Otherwise, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
it's just, but in general, that's the thing is like for me, I'm like I step lightly because I'm like, if I step hard, I'm gonna break through the floor because I'm fat. And now I'm like, I still feel like I'm gonna break through the floor, so I'm gonna keep on stepping lightly just in case.
Yeah, like I don't like that'll hurt. I'm already sore because I am large, and then, but like,
true.
Yeah, it's all very.
That's people have looked at me. They're like, "Why do you look like you're pissed off?" And I'm like, "I'm just hurt everywhere because I'm big." That's just. I'm like, I'm not angry. I'm just in pain constantly.
Yeah. See, I think I have like a resting bitch face. Resting angry face, and then but then I've turned it. I've learned it. It's my eyebrow cleavage right here.
That'll do it.
Eyes down here, buddy. So, but sometimes if I thin out the eyebrows, I look less angry. But like, that's more of a them problem. But then also I'm alone all the time, so maybe it's a me problem. Everybody else has a problem. I'm perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. That's obviously the conclusion that we've come to.
That's why I have the walls of a serial killer. And
it's okay. But I feel like if we don't just do red string to all of the pieces of paper and we color coordinate it, it could be more like, I'm figure something out. If it's all the same color, that'll be confusing.
It better not turn into a fucking rainbow because why is that the only flag I can see? And I'm in Canada. I don't see Canadian flags, but I see the rainbow.
No. How dare you fly a Canadian flag, sir? How dare you?
Whatever. Our prime minister has made me pretty ashamed of being.
Maybe not serial killer. Maybe a detective. I mean,
hey, don't typecast me.
He could be one or the other. You never know.
His serial killer. See, I can't even play a detective because they have to have short hair and cleaned up and all that shit.
Is that a normal thing? People,
Oh yeah.
yeah, they're like, see, because so even when I worked as a financial planner, people were like, I always had a beard or facial hair, and people were like, normally, like people don't like dealing with people with beards when it comes to money because you're like you seem untrustworthy, and I'm like, that's foolishness. And I'm like, I just always had a beard, and people were like, oh, nobody cared. I'm like, yeah, because I'm huge. What are you gonna do? You don't look trustworthy. I'm like, that's because I look like I might eat your children. That's fine. That's a reasonable conclusion.
Nowadays, it's like less of a big deal. Like I talked to a teacher before, and I'm like, don't they care about your eyebrow ring? Because back in the day, they cared a lot about bullshit like that, and like tattoos. But now everybody has tattoos except for me.
Kyle, did you cut your hair?
I did cut my hair. Thank you for noticing.
Fancy bastard. I didn't cut my hair because I barely have any. So
you cut your hair once.
Yeah, and look what they did to me. Look what they did to me.
Yeah,
I remember. See, I remember I had a teacher. What was? I don't remember his name, but he was a music teacher, and he had grown a beard, and his hair was long, and he was he didn't look. He looked like a business hippie, you know, but he didn't have any tattoos or anything or any piercings. But he was like, he grew out his beard. It was a good, like he had a tight beard, so it was a very full but straight beard. And then he was growing his hair out, looked really good. He had very, very good hair for a man of his age. And then he came the next day and it was all trimmed off. And I'm like, bro, why would you do that? He is like, just want to change. And I'm like, I cornered him, like, bro, you looked wicked with that shit. What are you talking about? He's like, I was informed that this is a place of business and I should dress appropriately. And I was like, bro, that sucks. He's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
and I'm just like, that's a dick move.
Like with detectives, yeah, you can't have like long hair and shit like that, and you have to be all like super professional, look super. Like you could probably have like a short beard that's all clean and stuff, but I'm not cutting my hair, so yeah, they're like a lot of people are like, you get more rules, but also at the same time, do I want to be on that side of the law? Like I want to play.
No,
I want to do all the stuff that they're not allowing me to do, anyways. So. I have been a criminal many times in film now.
I mean, that's the best part.
Prison. I've been in jail cells a few times, multiple times. I was in a bilingual jail cell for a while.
The fancy jail cell. I like it.
So it was, and then prison, jail. I was a homeless dude, but then I stole something from somebody. Sorry. PC, unhoused individual. But you know what? If they are unhoused individuals, they're probably not watching the TV show. So they are
also true.
Like, I don't know what. Do you think? Okay, when they started doing that shit, all right, like this could be a rabbit hole. Anyways, no, but like, do you think there was ever one homeless guy that was like, I am offended by that term? No. It was some bitch in the suburbs. Yeah. I'm not going to say any racial thing, but probably white.
Probably. Let's be honest. White women are the worst. That's fine. That's just.
No, but it's just like, why are you so bored? Like, fuck, man. I don't like you. If you have to create problems, you're not doing it right, because I have all my problems are created for me. So, like, the life I lead. Anyway,
if you want problems, just let me know. I'll give you one.
Yeah, like my problems find me. Like, I was thinking, I'm like, my car's getting a little messed up. Maybe I should get a new one. And I thought about it. And then today, my engine light comes on. But I started thinking about it last night because, well, we're probably gonna have to do an episode on intuition. But it was just the giant intuition. No, but I'm just like, fuck. But I did achieve a goal I needed for like 20 years. I finally got a 6-disc changer in my car. For the kids out there, CDs are where music used to come from.
A long time ago. I have a 6-disc changer in my car. and people are like, "Oh, can I plug in my phone?" And I'm like, "No, I don't have an auxiliary port." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "I don't. I have a CD changer."
Oh, see, I have an auxiliary port.
Yeah.
But what's funny is you can't even plug in phones because none of them have auxiliary anymore. They don't have headphone jacks.
Wow.
So, and people are like, "Why do you use an iPod?" Yes, I use an iPod because my phone, even if I wanted to pay the data and all that shit, I have like 30 gigs anyways, but like, which is recent, but like, my phone would be dead all the time, and then, which it almost is, and then like it's just I can't like I can call people over the broadband, not broadband, Bluetooth.
Yeah.
But I can't like play music through it because it's not that. It doesn't pair to that. Like my car was, that's 2009 for you. We had the hands-free talking, but not the hands-free music.
Exactly. We had our priorities straight. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's be in communication. You can listen to the radio. That's. I have had multiple people. They're like, "Oh, what station is?" They'll be asked like, "Is this your phone?" And I'm like, "No, this is the radio." They're like, "The radio." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just listening to the radio like a fucking poor person."
Did you know that music gets beamed free over the air?
Yeah. I found that it gets aggravating when people start talking on the radio, and I'm like, "Who the hell? Just put the music back on, you bastards!" And they're just like, "Hey, we're going to talk about our opinions." Mind you, we're doing a podcast, so I guess that's kind of more so. I just don't like them.
Yeah. No, but I love how they're like, I love all the things that get created, but they're just like not new. Like podcasts. I'm like, "Oh, what did you create? Talk radio." Like, fuck off. Like, it's been around forever. I'm like, it's not, you just called it something different. It's just like all these little things that are just like, it's reboots. I'm like, they're not even reboots. Like, I'm like, they're like, I don't know why you call things reboots when they're like
totally different.
Yeah, or they're just adding more seasons. Like, that's not a like, or it's a total like, how is okay? So there's a Frasier reboot. But it's like literally it's just the future of the same show. But then there's like a Charmed reboot, which is like redoing the original show. Like what like it's those are with different actors. Like those are different things, right?
Yeah,
like,
those aren't the same.
Not
yeah,
all reboots. They're not.
No.
People just like are like, why should we learn new English words? And then they're like pronouns. But like
also true. Let's be honest. If somebody started a conversation with be like, "Oh, this is how you address me," you're like, "Oh, I could just call you by name." I can't think of a reboot that was way better than the original. That's for sure. They're redoing the movie Mean Girls, which I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Because no, I thought they were making a proper sequel to it.
Well, I don't know if it's a proper sequel, but
there's
Regina George back in it.
Okay, so proper sequel because the original they already have a Mean Girls 2 straight to like DVD. DVD is also a disc similar to a CD, but it offered movies.
Exactly. Mean Girls is a hard pass. I'd rather watch Hugh Grant dance as an Oompa Loompa. I mean, also, if you support Hugh Grant dancing as an Oompa Loompa, then you might get to see mad midgets, which I'm like, I also find that entertaining as well because they're very small and their anger brings me joy.
It was funny. I was listening to talk radio. I was in a U-Haul, so yeah. But it was the Mickey from Seinfeld,
yeah.
Person. Anyways, it was like him talking about his 30-year career, and then they were talking about Oompa Loompas, and he's like, I wasn't offended by the original Oompa Loompas because I didn't think of them as little people. They were a different species, and why weren't there women? But also, and then he was talking about Hugh Grant. I guess, well, obviously these are questions posed upon him because why would he have opinions about tall people? Anyways. But like how Hugh Grant was playing, he's like, but there's no like little people who are also Oscar winners. You know what I mean? So it's like, do you get the best actor? Yes, you get the best actor. Same with Bryan Cranston in a wheelchair. What do you need to get a quadriplegic to play a quadriplegic? Like that's why it's called acting, people. Like if you just otherwise it's just fucking reality TV.
Yeah, you're just pretending to be you. That's not pretending. You're just being you.
No, like it's like get people that fit the bill and can act and. if they, oh no, he sat down all movie. You're like, you don't pretend like fuck, man. You had to find a quad. I don't think there's probably not a lot of quad actors now that Superman's dead. But
yeah, that's probably accurate. A little bit harsh, but I
that
do.
being
It
said,
isn't wrong.
Could you think of another one?
It's no, I didn't think of that one. Let's be good. Why aren't there female Oompa Loompas? Maybe they're like dwarves. They look too similar to men.
Wow, that just explained your marriage a lot, right?
Well, listen, a little bit.
No, I like it. I like it. I'm supportive.
We're both horrible people. That's why.
Victoria, I don't know if she knows, but I have no business or interest in being a best man. So your marriage has to work out.
That's fair.
Just in case you might find somebody new.
Because
like, fuck, it's a coin toss, my friend. Because I'm back on team dying alone.
Yeah. Well, wait. How does that explain our marriage? It's because we're both horrible people, honey. That's why. That's
He'll explain it to you later.
Yeah, I'll explain it to you later. We're both mean. We're both mean people. Victoria has a very, very professional resting bitch face, and if she's wearing a mask, it's a million times worse. Because we early on when people were wearing masks, we perfected the whole smile without actually smiling. Where you just go, and people are like, "Oh, you're smiling." You're like, "I'm not. I'm saying fuck you underneath my mask, son of a bitch." Because that's fair. But yeah, no, see, this is the thing. Is even Victoria has asked me before. She's like, "What would you do if something happened to me?" And I'm like, I'll die alone. That's just hookers. That's it. Nothing. I would never venture into this cesspool of what's happening right now." And it's terrifying to me because I'm like, I didn't do good, but when it was my time, let alone now. Are you kidding me? It'd be insane.
Yeah, like I was okay when I was younger. There was possibilities. I didn't realize that one of my longer relationship had ended. That my life was actually essentially over. So,
Jesus.
But it's all been a lot.
Much
the dating cool.
Yeah, for a second I thought you thought I looked like an Oompa Loompa. You do not look like an Oompa Loompa, Victoria. No. You are British, but you don't wear the British makeup like we see on TV. Because those girls do look like Oompa Loompas. It's quite ridiculous. But
yeah, that's why are people orange? Like
it's very confusing, and also seeing them in real life is terrifying. You're like, why? That's not a skin color. Like that's absolutely alarming.
That should be a new race. How will they identify? We are
we're Oompa Loompas.
We are Oompa Loompa.
Is a tall orange person still an Oompa Loompa? I think that's a fair question. It's fair.
Well, if it Oompas and Loompas.
If it Oompas like a Loompa.
Brian Oompa Loompa. This has gone off the rails.
Absolutely, sir. Conveniently, we're almost at the end. So.
Well, yeah, because 7 minutes of fuck. No, it's good. It's good though because immediately after this, me and Dina will have a lot of good conversation that not recorded, and
it's great for us. So
yeah, it's good. We're trying to be stars. Anyways, off camera.
Yeah. Because who would want to be a star on camera? That's ridiculous.
No, it's terrible. I hate it when people know who I am. It's funny. People are like, at the event, whenever I was at work for 5 hours past my shift, hanging with my friends. No, somebody came up to our coworker Natasha Sparky, and was like, "My friend has a photo with you at Hexwood." And then they're like, look at me, and they're like, "You look familiar." And it's just like, yeah, I was there too. But
one of the guys who was working as staff at Hexwood, I walked up, I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "Oh, have we met?" And I'm like, "Oh, I had blood coming from my eyes and a hammer." He's like, "Oh my God, you're a real person." I'm like, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah,
debatable.
Comparably, I can pretend to be a real person or a scary person. That's
I have a question.
I'm not sure which one is more pretending, but yeah.
If I did a GoFundMe for medical school so that I would become the world's scariest proctologist, Do you think? I feel like that's. I think that people would support that,
I mean,
except if they actually have a prostate. Maybe women will be.
white woman would support you, sir. They'd be
Yeah.
like, it's about time men feel that pain. You're like, bam, just immediately. Yeah, that's much worse. That's it. I'm like, bro, and I made that joke. I'm like, I have giant penis fingers, and then Kyle's like, look at me, and I'm like, wow, he's got giant cock fingers. It's different. It's way bigger than mine. No, that's fine. That's.
I'm sorry, Dino.
I'm definitely gonna make that a joke if we're on stage at the same time. I'm like, I have giant penis fingers. He's got giant cock fingers.
No, we should do a. Now we'll just plan our future and fuck the last 4 minutes. We should totally do like on stage, both of us, but like we'd have to plan it, obviously. And like,
yeah, we do need. It's more so telling stories about how ridiculous life is in interactions. Like Kyle will come out with very absurd things that will make people laugh. Especially when we're in line at Princess Auto. That was non-binary cow. Still gets me every time.
Shit, man, I forgot all about that.
It was a great joke.
The gloves, yeah. But that dude had style, man. Like your wife could have dressed that dude. Like that dude.
Yeah, he had nice hat and everything.
It was all about the hat, and then everything coordinated. Some beige outerwear.
I mean, so I was walking down. I went for dinner with Victoria and a friend of ours, and I saw a guy who was outside of Harry Rosen, and I looked him up and down, and I was like, "Man, that's some good style." And I was gonna compliment him, and then I was like, "Fuck you," and I didn't. But I was like, I kind of regret. I'm like, I feel like we should compliment each other on our dress more often.
No, you should. Like, it was weird. I was at emo night at Sneaky D's, as I was for every Friday for months, because I had no friends or anything. So I went there to see if I could meet people, and no. But like one dude came up to me and he was like a little guy, probably 20 something, and he's like, "You're like the coolest guy in here. Your fucking hair, your shoulders forever out to fucking ever." And then he's like, "You're the way you're dressed." And I just compliment. I'm like, I don't know. At this point, I'm not even sure if he's making fun of me or not. But I think it was genuine, and I was told it was genuine. And apparently, that's the Gen Z way. And I'm just like, that's pretty good. That's a good characteristic.
I think so.
That they're not all bad.
No. I feel like there's people are so wrapped into what generation they're from. When you're like, hey, there are pieces of shit in every generation, and there are good people in every generation, except for millennials. They're horrible. But
I am a millennial.
You're like barely a millennial, though.
I'm actually considered. They made a new category for me. It's like Zennial. Like I'm Gen Z millennial, because I experienced the transition of everything from like I was like right before, but then it's like from landline to dial up to internet to like CD, cassette, and all that, and like to digital music. Like everything's changed. Everything.
I met a lady that was alive before cars. And she was like, I was like, how was that? She's like, smelled like shit. I'm like, that's a good answer. That's
horses.
Yeah, horses fucking everywhere. You're like, damn. You're like, huh? That's but it's like that's the thing is too. Like I remember my dad was like, I'm not paying an extra $2 for touchtone phone service. Like, no. We use a he's like, I don't give a shit. I'm not paying $2.
And then like remember like fucking that up. And like even dial phones you can mess up. Now you can like delete shit. Like that's so insane to me. Because I also, if anybody out there has an explanation for this, okay, see the number pad?
Yes.
One's at the bottom, 1, 2, 3. But on the phone, it's the opposite. It goes from top down. Yeah. So I was a receiver and I was typing numbers all day on this. So when I actually had to dial a phone, I would say I forgot how to dial a phone because I couldn't do it because the numbers were in the wrong spots.
That's fair.
So I'm just like, but why are they inverted on one and not on the other? Like, I don't know.
I always was confused by that because it doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, like,
have you no, oh my God. Have you seen, there's a video online of like some kids bought a Taylor Swift CD for like collecting, and then they were trying to figure out how to put it in, and they didn't even know how to open the CD case. Like they didn't know how. They didn't know how, man.
So, in their defense, I have broken many a CD cases.
Yeah, but
So,
not. That's because of your large man hands.
maybe I may be a little bit retarded as well. So it was more so I'm like I would be like ripping off the plastic, I ripped off the jointy thing, and that would be also I was really bad. I would always stuff more than one CD into a case because I'm like I'm just gonna put two in there. They're like you shouldn't do that, and I'm like, and he would break, and I'm like, I deserve it, whatever.
I hope that the kids learn that now for all the CDs that they but like, yeah, they it's all like I worked at 2 music stores, so for like a combined like 10 years, so I can open a CD case now, but yeah, sometimes they break, but like it seems like a useless skill now.
Yeah.
Just like knowledge, because like why do I have to memorize anything? Fucking Google. Like shit, man. Like what do they teach in school? This is how you bring up Google. Like Christ. Like why do you have to memorize anything? It's on your phone.
See, that's the hard part is if you don't know stuff, then you could just change the answers, right? Like that idea. That's the one thing. Like I actually have an old Encyclopedia Britannica from like the 90s that I'm just like, yeah, I'll keep that forever. Half of it's wrong, but I'm like, I don't give a shit.
That's the best part. It's just like, look at all the wrong shit we used to believe.
Look how bad it used to be.
Pluto's a planet. Fuck. How stupid were we?
Yeah, we're a bunch of idiots.
It really affects our lives a lot.
Well,
the status of Pluto. I think it's changed like 4 times in our life.
At least. So this has been Life of Giants. We just pretty much talked about being people.
Yeah, nothing.
Which
like
also is still valid. So
this was a solid second episode of who the fuck cares at this point. Like even the comment section was just like, "What'd you say, Dino?"
Also factual, but if there's we're experimenting with format as well. So who knows? Maybe we can get some giant people on this as well. We do have somebody that I'm meeting in LA in January that is going to come on as a guest eventually.
We can talk about Christmas next week.
I know, that's very exciting. But yeah,
I'm working on Christmas.
Are you really?
Yeah, because I have no buddy. I have nobody.
That's horrible.
So I'll make good money though. So
that's a fair point. No. Anyways, this has been the Life of Giants. You guys have a good night, and we will be back sometime next week. It'll be very exciting. See ya.
Bye.